me once more. Yes, baby. Ooh, don't you remember? Baby, baby,
WEFM. WhatsApp us or call us at 457-9997. Rise and shine. Let's get ready to take on the day. Activated Mornings on WEFM 99.9 is on now.
All right, it's another beautiful Thursday morning here in the lovely St. Vincent and the Grenadines. It's Activated Mornings on WEFM with Roleza and Dianna. At this time, we have our commentary with Mr. PeeJohn, who is already on the line. PeeJohn, good morning.
Good morning to you, Dianna. Good morning, Roleza.
Morning.
I hope you all having a good morning. And I hope you have a good day today.
To you as well.
A few days ago, you were making some comments. I think it was Roleza on the National Insurance Scheme. Am I correct?
On Monday, yes.
Yeah, and you were expressing concern, like many other persons, that the contribution rate has increased.
Mm-hmm.
And persons are concerned. I just want to say that we have to take a different approach to the NIS and don't see any increase in contribution as an expense. It is not a tax. It is not money that you spend in without for no reason. It should be seen as an investment.
Future investment, long-term investment.
It should be seen as an investment because it's there for the day when you cannot earn any income whatsoever, and at that stage in your life, when you need it most, there's this social security net that will assist you. For instance, people get their pension based on their contribution. They get a pension for the rest of their life. They have maternity benefits. They have employment injury benefits. And all these are expenses that you would have if you are out of work but still have needs. So rather than making it sound as if we're spending money on it, it's an expense, an additional expense, a burden. We should really view it as an investment in the future for when we are at a stage where we cannot work or cannot be employed. So I just wanted to share that view.
Okay. So my thoughts with regards to NIS is that I do understand the importance of it being around, right? I will never say no, because of the fact that many of us, while we're talking about expenses, we are not able to necessarily take money from out of our salaries to, let's say, pay for retirement plan, etc. Although, word to my younger self would have been to start to take out a retirement plan from the time I started working at the age of 18, because trying to catch up in my 40s is a problem, right? So, but the thing of it is that, yes, I do understand why the NIS does exist, but we cannot escape the reality. So yes, I guess in a way, having to quote unquote being forced to plan for this retirement, because if we had to do it voluntarily, many of us would not do it, right? So I do understand the existence of it. I think what it is that troubles many of us. So I actually don't have a problem with it necessarily. It's just that, yes, I'm going to be seeing a decrease in my salary from this month end, right? But I think what it is that concerns many of us is the trouble that the service, the service may find itself in years to come, especially if you don't have, let's say, as we already have, a situation with a decrease in population. If we have a workforce that, especially if you have more self-employed persons who do not see the value in paying into the NIS, what is going to happen, given that it is a contributing service where the more persons who are a part of it, it is better for us in the long term. And the question really is what is it that's going to happen when it's my turn to receive NIS, or when it's, let's say, my niece's turn to receive NIS? I think that's what's the concern, right? So, yeah.
So what instead of being disgruntled, we should encourage people to sign up to spread the net, so that everybody who can should contribute to deepen the funds.
Yeah, I suppose what I would say is yes to pay into that NIS, but also try to secure something for yourself on the side, just in case. That would be my best advice.
Okay, then. So that's my thought for the day. All the best.
All right, to you too, PeeJohn. Thanks. All right.
All right, then. So that was Mr. PeeJohn with his commentary there on the National Insurance Services. I nearly said National Insurance Scheme, even though I was not wrong when it was called a scheme.
And that is exactly why it is. They changed it because of the perception of it being a scheme. Right? So, yeah.
All righty then, my beautiful people. Let me again say Buiti Binafi. I didn't get to mention this to you before because I was just working on it. But one of the topics here, I'm trying to get somebody from the school to call us.
Okay.
Yeah. So
what school?
The one that we're gonna talk about now.
Oh, all right.
Yeah. So I said Buiti Binafi, and for those of you who don't know what that means, that is good morning in Garifuna. Yes. We're gonna be talking about some things Garifuna. I'm excited for this, and I have to say big up Vinlec. Vinlec, I'm always pleased with what you do with your calendars, and I'm even more pleased this year, because of what you've done, including the Garifuna in your calendar, even though it may not be something that may be seen as really grand, because we still have a lot of work to do. It's a very important thing that you've done in informing us, because by just taking up your calendar, you can learn how to say the months of the year in Garifuna. Well, of course, you're going to have to seek the pronunciation, but persons can learn how to pronounce the months of the year. There's a little bit in there, even good morning, I see in there, how are you, things like that, and a little bit of information. So Vinlec, big up your whole self this morning on your 2025 calendar. So that's one of the topics here for our Garifuna. There are some Garifuna classes. Where did my thing go? All right. So there are some free Garifuna classes that will be taking place. It's going to be online for us because I think the face-to-face session is not in SVG. All right. So you can check out the APIs page. If you're interested in learning to speak Garifuna, you can check the APIs page. You'll see a yellow flyer there marked Wayanoha Garifuna language classes, and it will give you some more information. You'll get to click on the link, and you can get to sign up for these classes. You're not too big, you're not too old to start to learn a little bit of something in Garifuna, right? So they will start from the basics, alphabet, numbers, and things like that for you. Additionally, the Fancy Government School. Now, Fancy I've noticed that Fancy has taken up the charge to teach the Garifuna language to its students, to include the Garifuna language and customs and so on in their school. And I have to commend them on that. Sorry, 1 minute. All right. So we are supposed to receive a call from one of the teachers at the fancy government school so she can give us a little bit more information on the program that they have going, because fancy, well, as far as I know, I believe is the only school in the country that is teaching Garifuna language. We've been hearing yes. All right. Then.
Hi, Mrs. Durant. Good morning.
Good morning.
Well, I'm your turn, so I'm sorry.
Ida biak?
Magadiatina Hagiabuya.
Magadiatina. All right then. So not to confuse the folks, she just said good morning. I asked her how she's doing. She said she's doing well, and I responded the same. Yes, and then I responded the same, right? So that's the lovely thing about speaking languages. But anyways, on the line we have Mrs. Claire Durant, who is a teacher at the fancy government school. So we're just like Claire she's a Mrs. Durant, to give us some information about the program that they have going on at their school with the teaching of Garifuna, among other things. So over to you.
All right, then. So I'll take it away now. Well, at Fancy Government School, we teach the language as a whole. School is not as a specific subject, but usually in mornings at assembly, we would do a bit of the language. We try to greet each other in the language as well when we come to school. And our principal actually was the one who started all of this. She saw an invite online from a lady that's from Fancy, but she's overseas. Her name is Ganigi. And Ganigi posted this invite, and the principal was like, oh, I'm interested in this. She went into the class. The classes were done by Mr. Lovell, who is, I would say, quite a stalwart in terms of the Garifuna language as well as the songs and music. Yes, he was the one that translated the anthem, our national anthem, into Garifuna. So he was the teacher of that class, and she just participated in it. And anytime she had any queries or anything she wanted translated, she would message Ganigi, and then she would get it back, and then she'd come to school and teach it. So we know, the national anthem in Garifuna, we know the Lord's Prayer, and a few other songs as well in Garifuna. And as for me now, my role in all of this, I also became interested in language, and I saw an online class available, a free online class to learn Garifuna. I participated in it, and I participated in it to the point where I eventually became a tutor. I was a level 1 tutor for the language, and I did that, I believe, for a year or so. So yeah, we do have a basic knowledge in the language, and we're just trying to impart that to the students at Fancy Government School.
All right. Lovely. What about the Garifuna dances? Do you also do some of those dances or teach some of those dances?
With regard to the dances, we recently did something with Miss Ulrika Games. She came to school and did a presentation, but we're supposed to work together so that we can have that longevity for the dance project, because we don't really have that much knowledge of the dance, and you would need a tutor in person. You need someone there to actually teach you it. And she did a phenomenal job with the session that we had with her. So we're just looking forward to the future of continuing teaching the dance with the students. But of course, we do have the food. As you know, we're from Fancy, and last year we had a Creole Day where we had parents coming in and other community members coming in and teaching the children how to make the dishes. So we did stuff right on the spot. They learned how to make madongo bakes. They grated the cassava. We baked cassava. Everything was done there on the spot for the children to learn.
All right. So just one final thing for me. So how has the community been receiving it, as well as the children, when they've been told that they're learning this particular language? What's the response been like?
Well, for the community members, so if we say it to them, they might say, Miss, what you saying? Because it's not something that is open to everyone. But the children in school are receptive of it, because, we're letting them know that this is a part of your cultural identity. So this is something that they're practicing and they actually hold on to. And, it gives them a sense of pride. It's just now for them to basically impart it into their household. Like I say, everyone is already open with the food, and it's a part of our culture up there. It's just now for us to get into the language a bit more. But I know that this would be a challenge, as it's been something that has been ripped from us, and the colonization did certainly root it out. I remember one time my principal was telling me there was a guy in Sandy Bay who he had a few Garifuna phrases that he knew, and he was the only one saying them, but no one else around him knew it. So it's just unfortunate that we have lost that piece of our culture, and we're just doing our best now to revive it.
All right.
All right, Ms. Durant, has there been a push maybe from your end, or well, not just you, but for it to be incorporated into the syllabus for nationally, right? Because you and Dianna had that exchange, and I hear lost. I could only figure out that you meant good morning, right? But has there been a push for it from a national level so that it's not just, let's say, for students within the fancy OYA area, but we can embrace a second language, this being our main second language nationally?
Okay, so I know in the past that the people from the Garifuna diaspora and people from Belize and stuff, that they came to St. Vincent and they would do all of these different projects and they would try to impact the language. And I believe that was a desire of them for it to implement it into the schools. So I can't say, I don't know if the government, I don't believe they did accept the proposal. I don't know the workings behind of it, but I know that they were desirous of that being something done. And right now I am a part of a project where they actually want to create some curriculum material, but that is more from, I say, a regional standpoint. But that is something that is in the works. It's like, so I can't really say no for sure, like when that would be a thing, but it's something that they are desirous of and they want to do, but I don't know how it would be done fully, because then, you're going to need so many teachers to learn the language and stuff like that. But it's just something that we just need to take one step at a time. And hopefully we can accomplish that so that people can get closer to their Garifuna identity.
Agreed. And if we can learn Mandarin and French and Spanish, of course we can learn our Garifuna language.
Yes, please.
All right.
All right. So thank you
so much for having me.
You're very welcome. All right, then. Thank you.
All right, then. Sarame and Ayo.
All right. Sarame Ayo.
Bye.
So let's thank you and goodbye. All right, so that was Mrs. Duran from the Fancy Government School. It is now, we're 7:36, and we're going to head straight into our traffic talk at this time.
WEFM, the clean, fresh sound.
This is WEFM's Traffic Talk, Monday to Friday, 7:35 a.m. in association with the traffic branch of the Royal St. Vincent and the Grenadines Police Force.
It is now 7:36 here on SVG. We are standing by to connect with an officer of the Royal St. Vincent and the Grenadines Police Force Traffic Department to bring us this morning's traffic talk. All right, and on the line we have Sergeant